He's going to a certain place, Wall's going to a certain place. It's,
I totally, I've got most of it down, but I don't know. I think the one ground C at LMC.
if it's not in the same place all the time, good luck to it. Did you get to see Jim?
No, they're waiting for me to.
You'll see him tonight.
I'll see you tonight.
Please tell me how much we, gosh,
I will. They are awesome.
been a lifesaver.
Yeah, I'd like to lean on him more.
Yeah.
As the opportunities present themselves. I'm gonna be leaning on Caroline pretty hard here this month. We got I'll talk about it more broadly, but Port Townsend Marine Science Center is doing a beach cleanup. The Saturday of Earth Day week, so the 25th. Yes. And they want to do one here, and I said, sure, we'll do it. All we need to do is really staff a check. The rest is hopefully people from the community coming out and picking up garbage and,
I don't, so this, no, there it is. One of my outstanding checks.
oh, great.
Did one yesterday and my son-in-law neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
I went walk by the house on Sunday. See what he was doing in town. Explain the whole thing to him. He said he was going to.
Mine is it.
My glasses. I never seem to keep them calm.
You know what you need in your life?
I went to this.
No, man.
I went to this.
Mine are pretty much blowing their coats right now.
Ted Village this
So,
morning, and there's this
vacuum.
pit bull comes running, and she's got like teeth, and she's at someplace, and I'm like, oh, where the puppies at? And so they're like, they're in the camp on the other side, you know, so I'm like, I'm gonna go find the kennel so I can see the little puppies. Sure enough, she was moving to the tank, and the dad was a shepherd, so the shepherd and pit next. And there were these little like 6-7-week-old puppies, just cute star things. Yeah, I wanted to just take a photo.
This is less
He's actually taking care of them, and they all looked healthy.
Even better. How much was it?
Yeah, so he was actually trying to home them, and see them eating worm and stuff, and
Nice.
it's weird because I know this guy for a long time, and he always has a dog.
Not much closer to 100 now.
His dog eats before he does.
Yeah.
Do you have the recipe?
Yeah, it's like, I already got 2 dogs.
We'll vote on it, and if I don't sign it today, I'm going to do this mark tomorrow to do some other things. I'll sign it then. Hello. 2 minutes and we're starting, so I don't care who's here.
I have to leave the course.
Just FYI, no, you, I just want you to know. No, you can stand here, it's fine. And talk.
What do you mean?
I just wanted you to know whatever you're saying is going out on the internet. That's all. I don't care if you're here talking. I just want you to know. You have to leave at 4, is that what you're saying? I think we're gonna be done, honestly. I really. That's your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great opportunity to.
I feel like we have lots of those people. This one starts off.
We did enough advertising.
I wish it was. So you didn't have to do much of it.
Who's got?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Right.
You're 10 minutes early.
We can't,
That can't be right.
You must have set your watch.
Thank you.
This is 2:43 on your computer.
Hey.
Take this with you. Here, Tracy, take this with you. Okay, we're gonna start.
What time is it?
Does that not say 3 o'clock? Does it really say 2:43 right there?
Is there a way we can hit one of these lights, because they're glare? No, can't.
No. Turns out it's not nearly as bad out there as it is here.
I mean, cataracts.
oh, so you're the file sure.
She wants this to look right now.
Yep, of course. I have to reconnect with you. Okay, we're gonna get started, because it is 3:01 and Tracy's already here.
Yeah.
We don't even have to start now. So we'll call this, meeting to order at 3:01. We did have a number of complaints about volume last month at the beach club, so if you guys can't hear us, say so.
What was that?
I'm sure the camera's gonna pick it up in this room, but, so we'll use the mic if we need to, but if we don't, let it, so I'm looking at you two, let us know.
You can sit up here, I won't bite you.
In the front row. This don't work.
I had the rest of the video ones.
Okay, so raise your hand if it gets, if you can't hear, okay? So we'll start with stakeholder updates. We are missing Chris, we are missing Joan, we are missing, not Carolyn.
Not here, Carol.
So we're missing Chris and Joan. Joan let me know she wouldn't be here today. And I didn't hear from Chris, but he's not here. So we'll assume he's not here. So we'll start with stakeholder updates. I will let Andy or Brett flip for it as they're doing Peter here. Andy Burson from Jefferson County Sheriff's Office.
Hello, thanks for letting me be here today and fill you in on some things that are going on at the Sheriff's Office and in Jefferson County, especially in Fort Ludlow. So what I start doing is I'm gonna try and come every other month so I can gather stats and whatnot and just relay that information to everybody that's present. So far this year, we're up to 3,300 calls for service across the county for the Sheriff's Office. About 1/10 of those are in Port Ludlow area. That means 104, Shine, this whole area here. So we got about 361 calls for service in this area. Most of them are traffic related, house alarms, calls like that. There's been an uptick in fraud calls across the whole county actually, and I'm sure you've all gotten text messages saying that you have a fine that you haven't paid, and the Superior Court of Washington State Traffic Enforcement is wanting you to pay a $500 fine or you're going to go to jail. They're all bogus. There's a bunch of scams, and people actually are clicking on the links and giving them their credit card numbers and being victimized like every day. So if you receive anything via text, Facebook, phone call, saying that they're with the government, either the sheriff's office, the court system, and they're asking for money, it's a scam. We're never going to call you to ask you for money, so it's a total scam. And we're actually going to be doing a fraud class with for Security Bank. We actually did one at the Beach Club last year. We're gonna be doing another one this year in the fall time. So hopefully we can get that on your agenda and get that out to everybody in Ludlow so we can get a really good attendance like we did last year. So that was really good class. Some budget updates. Obviously, you're aware that the county's operating in a budget deficit right now. And so, or maybe you're not aware of that, but in case you're not, we are operating in a budget deficit. And so the sheriff's office is trying to be fiscally responsible and basically trying to find a revenue. So you're all gonna see a parking ticket on your vehicle. No, I'm teasing. But so basically what we're doing is we have a 56-bed jail, and ever since COVID, we usually have around 20 people in our jail facility. So we have plenty of vacant beds. So I've actually reached out to Port Angeles, Bremerton, and Sequim, and we're actually gonna be renting out jail bed space to them. And it's gonna bring revenue into the county, which is a good thing. Yeah, and then we're also looking at some grants through the state to help pay for corrections officer's position and one deputy position that we currently have vacant right now. So we have 5 corrections officers positions available. We only have 15 corrections officers, so we're down quite a few corrections officers and one deputy position open. So, and that's about it. Any questions?
Yeah, how many beds do you have?
56.
And this is in Park County?
It's in Port Hadlock. It's right next to the baseball fields.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So I'm just curious, if you're renting space to other municipalities for that jail space, does that affect your liability issues at all?
It doesn't.
Okay.
You know, obviously, we have a contract that goes, back and forth between us and the city of Bremerton and city of Port Angeles. Our legal teams looked into it as far as, because we actually hold people for other agencies anyways. Like if we arrest someone on a Bremerton warrant and we can't transport them today, we would hold them overnight in our facility until we could chain them, it's called, to another facility. So that's a common thing that we would do. And it doesn't really cost that much more to fill up the jail, if you will, because we spend about 5 days per person on food, which is pretty inexpensive. And even if we have 2 people in custody in the jail, we still require to have 2 corrections officers. So if we have 40 people in the jail, we still need 2, and 2 people, we still need 2. So it doesn't really cost us that much more money to fill those vacant beds, but it actually brings in quite a bit of revenue over the course of a year, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
As I understand, that's fairly common, right?
It is fairly common, yeah. Actually, we actually had a contract with the Department of Corrections for probably the past 20 years. And we had a contract with the Suquamish tribe. We've had a contract with them for a number of years as well. So they just don't really use a lot of spaces, but we have had a contract with them. So thanks, Chief, that is a good point.
Are you just feeding them beans and rice?
Basically water and bread. No. We actually have a cook that comes in and makes a certain calorie meal for them. And so they get at least 2 hot meals a day. And the other one might be like cereal or something for breakfast, but yeah.
Is that cheaper?
Increase or is that the same?
3,500 is the cost for service so far this year.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we can hear
She asked if that was an increase. It's about average calls for service that we're, so like last year we had about 15,000 calls for service. And so 3,500 this time of the year is pretty average for us. All right, hearing nothing else? Chief Black?
Thanks, Sheriff.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Chief Black, Jefferson County Fire and Rescue.
Thank you. It's hard to follow the sheriff. He has always such interesting details.
You gotta sit closer to the podium next time,
I know.
so you can beat him.
Right? So some updates with East Jefferson Fire Rescue. As of Monday, we were at full staffing for the first time in a long time. We hired the one remaining vacancy. Blake Benson started. He's very happy, grinning ear to ear. And so we're real happy about that. For those of you that don't know, we also have an internship program. We have about 6 residents in that program. And it's a vocational training program. It takes 2 years to go through it. They get a small monthly stipend as they go through the program, and we train them at our expense to become EMTs and firefighters, and at the end of the program, they're eligible to be hired anywhere in the western United States, but if you wanted to come here, if we have an opening, but we don't sometimes. We have 2 cadets right now in the Kitsap Fire Academy, and they're about a quarter of the way through the program. I just got an update from their training officer this morning that both of them are in the top of their class. So, yeah, we're really proud of them for representing Jefferson County. But most of the other students are from Kitsap County. That's primarily Kitsap Fire Academy. We have one upcoming vacancy. Our deputy fire chief, my number 2, announced his retirement a few weeks ago, so he'll be retiring at the end of July. So we have a recruitment, and for that going on right now, if you're interested, share. But it's a nationwide search. We hire an outside consultant to run these executive recruitments, and we've already got a pretty strong list of applicants. So we'll be closing the recruitment period here in a couple weeks, and the hope is to have the candidate in the job sometime in late June, so that he can, or she can sidecar with Pete, who's earned a healthy retirement. So we're really happy to see that. On Tuesday, a couple days ago, we had a training burn in Port Townsend on Umatilla. You might have seen some of our press releases on that. Those are really intense and rare events. It's just logistically a lot. I just left the chief a few minutes ago. He was doing his after-action reports, and he's doing all the math on staff time for the planning, the hand-holding with the neighbors. 1,000 hours of our time was spent prepping for that event, including game day. We had over 50 people there on game day to help burn that building down safely. But we were able to get a lot of help from our Navy partners. The Navy brought 10 firefighters up and closed down 2 fire stations. We're really appreciative of everything they do for us. So they respond on fires for us and medical calls on a regular basis. So having them there to be part of the training was really a treat. But everything went as planned, no injuries, no complaints to my knowledge yet, but we did rescue 5 kittens. And they're all healthy and fine. And I just left them a few minutes ago at the Humane Society. One of them was already spoken for, but the other 4 are up for adoption. So just planting the seed out there. It needs, I think there's already some firefighting names proposed.
Oh,
Yeah. But,
Is that the Pussy?
no, that's up on Jacob Miller Road.
Okay.
Yeah, by the dump. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, that one.
And then a shameless plug, a couple shameless plugs. Our board meeting, the fire board meeting, is on April 21st at 3 p.m. This is more than we ever get at our board meetings or attendance. So if anybody's looking for something to do, you're more than welcome, either virtually or in person, to attend. We love to see the community there. Our commissioners really like the community they serve. And then the last shameless plug is April 18th. We would love to see each and every one of you at our pancake breakfast in Chimicum. We're really, again, proud of that event. It's a fundraiser for the East Jefferson Professional Firefighters Benevolent Fund, which has donated the money to the Burn Foundation for burn survivors. So, yeah, we'd love to see you all there. It's a pretty big deal.
And where?
It's at the Chimicum Firehouse.
Oh,
yeah,
in the firehouse.
And it's really good. I mean, last year, and I'm sure I'll be there again this year. It's really good.
Yeah, it's a nice family event. Yeah.
April 18th, when?
I'm sorry?
What time?
It starts at 9 o'clock. And until we run out of food. And we did several times last year. But we just keep shopping and cooking. That's what we do. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my interest is, emergency calls for service in Fort Ludlow. And do you get those statistics by the month, or by the year? You know, and where I'm going with this is really in comparison to the rest of the county. And the reason I'm asking is we have an aging population, and just in my own neighborhood, I see a lot of your folks coming and going. So I'd love to get that statistic.
There's a couple different ways you can get that. We publish it every month for a board report, and so it's on our website. The stats from March aren't posted yet, but they will be by the time of our board meeting in April, in a couple weeks. but if you went on our website right now, you could find, February stats, and it goes month by month,
And it breaks it down
by region.
by Ludlow,
Yeah.
so then you
And
can
you
get the
could,
number.
but just as to make sure you are aware, we're not the county fire department. We're a fire district, so we don't cover the whole county, we're not Pulsing, we're not
So that would just,
we're not Discovery Bay, it's just basically from the bridge to Port Townsend, that's us. Which is the most of where everybody lives, but not everybody.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's still an interesting.
The other thing I'll point out is our annual report is coming out soon, and that will have a much more detailed analysis of our response data throughout the whole district, but also break it up in the communities as well. But a little more detail and compare and contrast to, our call volume is actually going down right now, which is, I attribute to CARES. CARES is doing a phenomenal job of follow-up and preventing recidivism and keeping people healthier in their homes longer. And that's had a big impact.
That's a good thing, because that's really getting to the core.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah, we want our people, our community to be healthy. Yeah,
Thank you.
not rely on 911 unnecessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Just want to thank you and your department for the service of changing out the batteries.
Mm.
I'm on the schedule.
Okay.
The last few times I came, the ladder did not end well,
Oh,
so
sorry.
I'm grateful for that service. And secondly, for showing up at our Port Ludlow events. We're hoping to see you at our yard sale. I've been in touch with Barry, and he's going to talk to you
Okay.
about stuff having a truck for.
Great.
So thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Well,
That's good.
can you see, I couldn't find that anywhere, so can you send that to me? We have 20-foot ceilings, and I'm not getting on the ladder, and my
You
ladder's
just call
getting
the,
changed.
there's a.
You just call
You
them?
can just call us or
I
get
think
on our
it's
website.
Jamie, I
and
think the
there's-
lady's name is Jamie.
We have anybody that will answer the phone can help. You don't have to- You just say, I'm.
Just
on
don't
this-
call 911 here.
I'm not,
Good point, Greg, yeah. But we will change your smoke detectors in your whole home.
Yeah.
For free.
it's seriously, I got 20-foot ceilings, and I'm not getting on the ladder.
My
That's
wife's
just
only
fire
getting
truck,
on
so
the
just
ladder.
drive it right into the house.
What?
They're the fire truck, they'll just drive it
Where's
right
the
into the
ladder?
house.
Back the ladder.
Fire truck ladder.
Come on, Greg, they know what they're doing.
Okay.
And they'll
Anything
leave a
else?
kitten. And they'll leave a kitten.
Yeah. Not my house.
Any other questions?
Greg Brotherton could not be here today, and Jameson is clearly not here today. I don't see him hiding back there. Diana is not gonna be here today, but she did send me some high-level notes, she called them. So real estate, they have one home available on 71 Rainier Lane. They are working on the Falls Terrace land plan, so the development around where the falls are, where their corporate offices are, where the trailer park is, that whole area, 60 some odd acres, I wanna say, 62, 65, something like that. She says they're hoping to submit a permit to Jefferson County DCD soon. So, we all know that'll be years, right? Okay. Housing updates, April billing cycle, or April billing in the mail will have customer letter in regards to ancillary fees. They did an analysis of the surrounding areas and are updating the fees with the UTC. I assume that means the fees are going up. She didn't say that, but I think we can read between the lines there. Remember that your annual backflow testing is due on by June 1st of this year. Backflow testing, their letter confused me the first time I got it. Like it implied that, or it inferred that everybody had to submit their certification, and it really only applies if you have a backflow device in your house, which most of us don't. But they don't apparently have that granularity in their database to call that out. So, if you've done it in the past, you probably have one, and you need to do it by June 1st. They have continued discussion about the wastewater treatment plant upgrade, and they hope to have a funding and plan no later than the fourth quarter of 2026. So, coming right up. And they've talked about that. The first phase of that is in the $3.5 million range, I think. We have just, as an aside, fired off our utility committee again, and I think that's gonna be a pretty hot topic for the first couple of, meetings. You guys meet, what, the last Thursday of the month?
Correct. Last Thursday of the
Last-
month.
the 1
in
o'clock?
the Bay Club in the conference room at 1 o'clock.
And then for hospitality, she lists, at the inn, a wine dinner on the 16th with Rocky Pond Winery, and the open studio event they had on the third Wednesday of every other month. They had one last month, March. From 1 to 5, had a great turnout, people had a great time, and so if that's your jam, look into that for, I guess it'll be May, will be the next one. And the Fireside Restaurant has wine tasting on the 10th, which is coming right up. $10 wine flights, second Tuesday of each month. Happy hour is changing to 4 to 6, 7 days a week with light bites and more robust options. So that's the PLA notes. We will segue to HOA updates. I'm gonna start with you, Carolyn, because Joan is not here.
Yeah, really. Okay, so, we are busy at SPCA. We have, pancake breakfast coming tomorrow, and that is for Jefferson Healthcare Hospice. So, find an SPCA member and try and secure an SPCA. We have, pasta extravaganza coming up for our second, Friday member social. So that's April 10th. Landscaping, we're getting a bid on, scope of work for out front. We're getting ready to put in, new lovely soil and then plants. So we're trying to do something that has curb appeal, but is minimal maintenance. And then the lockers are still coming. Those things are a bugger. It always takes a little longer than you think, and takes more people to know whether they're the right material and can they take water and moisture. So, they should be ordered and we should be getting them soon. We are in the midst of budgeting and getting ready for our fiscal year for next year, so 26, 27, and working with our facilities committee on determining the reserve projects for next year, so we'll see what those are. And then just one last thing, in 8 de Mayo, we're having a Fiesta Mexicana, so if you are a member of South Bay, then our South Bay member social is going to be a Mexican fiesta, and Carlos of Mocajete will be helping to put that on for us. So, just fun stuff, up in our game.
It's about time.
I know. Barbecue coming in June.
Thank you,
It's in
Carolyn.
August. Ooh, it is, yeah.
Nice, thank you. I'm gonna pass it over to Carol for the LMC. I didn't tell her she was gonna be on the spot till she got here, so.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Yeah, I'm sure Joan wishes she could be here, because she'll do a better job, but, so I'm just gonna take these right off of our latest e-navigator, announcements, so it's gonna be kind of boring, but anyway. It's almost pool season for the outdoor pool, and, they're aiming for the 15th of May. If everything is warm and comfy, they might do it earlier, but, that looks like the drop dead date, or the swim date, or whatever you want to call it. We had a, party for the opening of the Mariners, season. They didn't do quite as well as people wanted, but everybody had a good time according to the year. We've got an annual meeting coming up on the 18th. A lot of proxy voting, but we're hoping that we'll have a pretty good turnout in person as well. A members reception the night before. We're also have been working over the last 6 months or so on getting our HOA software updated. And that seems to be on track, encouraging people to give us their emails, which you'll also hear from this council because it's a really good way of getting information out. I sent out an email from our notice here on council to a couple of my neighbors, and one of them wrote back and said, how do I sign up? So it's a really good, way of finding out things that are happening in the community, and I encourage that. So, we're also building, we've had it in, the plan for a while, but up here on the main floor, going to the gazebo, if you know that path between the office and the gazebo, we had no escape route from that area if there were an emergency to evacuate. And so we have had a goal to get emergency stairs input in that area. We've got the foundation just about ready to be laid for that. They've done all of the excavating and fixing of the conduits and stuff. So it's on track. They're hoping it will be ready by the May pool date. In the meantime, they've got some fencing barrier up so that if we have to go longer, the area will still be protected for the kids and the pool will still be available for everybody. But having been on the board during that discussion, I'm really glad to see that activity coming to conclusion.
Thanks, Carol. Okay, we will move into the exciting board business. I sent out, almost a month ago, the meeting minutes from the last board of directors meeting and attached it this morning to an email, and, anybody other than Tracy have any suggestions or edits for that document before we vote on it? No. Okay, so I would entertain a motion.
I move that the minutes be accepted.
Thank you. Josh?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion that we didn't cover before we drew the motion? All in favor? Any opposed or abstained? The second thing that we need to approve, and last thing we need to approve, is the Port Ludlow Connects contract with the Bay Club for their event on August 28th. That was also circulated a 3 weeks ago, and again this morning. It's pretty standard boilerplate-ish contract. The Bay Club historically has made a donation to the event, and then we have paid them for use of the space and the facilities. This year, they're not going to make a donation to the event, but they are going to zero out the fees for the facility, which is a win-win all the way around. I think we end up in the positive that way.
Seemed weird. We give you a check, you give it back to us.
I know, right? But yeah, it does, you're right, it absolutely does. And it's a great community event, and I think it's a good thing all around. So, let's have a motion for that, and then we can discuss it further as needed.
So moved to accept the contract with SPCA,
Thank you,
for,
Carol.
the Connect.
Oh, I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion around that contract? Anybody have any concerns? I know it's been several weeks since we sent it out, and Gary and I went over it pretty thoroughly before we sent it out, so I don't anticipate any issues.
Remind us of the date,
August 28th, I believe.
Yes.
we've got some planning time.
It is one of the most detailed contracts as far as responsibilities. Dan put it together as everything everybody's responsible for. It's amazing, so it's very thorough work.
Yeah, I thought that's a Bay Club's contract. It's not.
No, I'm talking about the part that Dan did for all the responsibilities.
Oh, for
Pages of-
our committee?
For our commitment,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is this one I should abstain from as a SPCA liaison, or do I get to vote for it because we want it?
I said, Judge, you gonna vote yes or no?
You don't have to abstain.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so. Okay, any further discussion around that That contract, I thought.
Just an aside note, this is being voted on because we were reminded that any contract that requires a signature from the president needs to be approved by the board before you can sign that contract. So that's the only reason where this is a sort of a pro forma vote, that it has to be done.
Right.
So just.
Right. And, yeah,
Just be clear.
yeah, we were sternly reminded. I mean, for those of you who don't know, almost everybody at this table is new within the last 2 years to this board, so we're still finding our way. And fortunately, we still have Pam in the wings to remind us
Yes.
when we misstep. Okay, so, those in favor of the motion to approve the Fort Ludlow Village contract? Anyone opposed or abstaining? Okay, great. That is it for voting. I will pass it over to Gary for the treasurer's report, which you also received via email this morning, and there's copies at the end of the table for those in the room.
Okay, so here's for the exciting portion of the program today. We already talked about money. So I always start out with where we started and where we finished, and that there's some little details in the middle. But for the month of March, we started at $14,892.33. We ended the month with $14,661.87. The reason that we sort of almost just equaled out is because our expenses were almost the same as our income for that month. We are still getting community contracts, or community contributions on a monthly basis, but we have now started our event season. So we're getting revenue from the events, and the first one is the art sale coming up. And it's not a lot of revenue, but it's enough to help us offset some costs for the event itself. So you'll see that as we go through the year, that event revenue will sort of increase and will be cumulative as we go to the end. The other side note is that we do have some unbudgeted projects that have been interjected into the mix. And although that gives me consternation, we, as these folks all know, we have enough money. These are not huge expenses. We have enough money at the end of the day to cover those expenses. And if those needs are actually successful, we will build them into our budget next year and not have this issue. So, thank you.
Thanks, Gary. Any of our board members or anybody who picked up a copy of the report have questions, comments, concerns? Okay. We will move on to committee reports. We will start with Pauline on TL Connect. Yeah, she's.
Very on.
Okay, can you hear me? All right. Fort Ludlow Connects met on the last Thursday of the month, and they are still waiting for the South Bay Agreement to be approved by Fort Ludlow Council. The String-alongs will be performing at our event. They are being sponsored also, so stay tuned for that. Vans have been arranged, and parking at the North Beach Club is being agreed upon. The parking will be up by the Bridge Club, so those parking lots will be cleaned out. If you haven't seen the overgrowth, needs cleaning up. The sponsorship letters have been sent. The exhibitor letters are being sent out as we speak. They decided to send those out April 1st. The voice articles will be combined with the other PLVC until April and August, July and August. Excuse me. The Fort
It's totally
Not
new.
me. But remind me to turn mine off.
It's called spam. Okay.
You have an unpaid ticket.
Flyers are being created, as are banners that will be placed in 4 strategic entry locations announcing the event. Our next meeting is on 4/22. If you want to attend, it's pretty amazing as to how much this group puts in, and it runs like a little river down the road. It doesn't stop.
Thank you, Connie. That is a massive undertaking, because they have something on the order of 60 vendors they're trying to coordinate for this event. So big deal for a volunteer group, all volunteer group, like.
President? I'm not familiar with what the event is.
It used to be called the Opportunity Fair.
Yeah.
The Community Opportunity Fair. It's every 2 years.
Okay.
It's down here. I'm pretty sure you guys are on the list of having a booth.
Okay.
And it was originally set up as an event for newcomers that have arrived in the previous 2 years.
I remember that.
And I think they just, in terms of the mailings, I think they just target new owners, new residents. But it's open to the whole community, and it will have places to plug in to volunteer. It's got all of the local clubs where you might go out and, join in arts and crafts or woodworking or pickleball or whatever. There's a lot of sort of regional nonprofits show up as well.
What's the date?
August 28th, I believe.
Oh,
It's awesome.
I haven't seen it on our calendar yet. So
Well, they've been a little hesitant to really blast it out there because I haven't signed the contract. And I keep telling them, "Hey, it's just a formality, it's going to happen." But,
Was it on a hiatus during COVID or something? Because I don't remember.
no, but it's only every other year.
It's only every year.
Oh,
So I know in 2024 was the first one, it was, we came to it, it was huge.
Okay.
I mean, it's
No, the
past
first one, 22,
22. The first one I went to.
24.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. 2024 was the first one I went to.
Okay.
But it was in 2022 as well.
Great.
Huge, I mean, massive event. Big enough that they asked people to park at the beach club and they van people over.
And it's only for about 2 to 3 hours.
And it's only about 2 to 3 hours. So it's a tight window, but I mean, this place, you could hardly walk here 2 years ago when I was here. And it's a great place to get exposure to the community.
Yeah.
So, and I think I've been to one of their meetings. I'm pretty sure you guys have a table.
Okay.
I mean, it might be your cares or the fundraising ones, but somebody, yeah. It's a great event. Okay, I'm gonna move on to communications. We will start, our communications committee, we'll start with Lois. If you've got anything you wanna talk about for the second annual yard sale.
We have 21 spaces filled. We have capacity for 45. We're going to be doing a poster blitz. Howard and I will be passing out flyers. Tracy's going to help us update and add anything to make it attractive. We have 4 volunteers that are going to help us that signed up through our resident survey, which is wonderful. And we're just thrilled that we're getting as much of a response as we are. We'll have a bake sale, we'll have the string-alongs are performing, Fireside's gonna do the lunch for sale, and it's moving along. So if you know anybody, spread the word, wants to sell their stuff,
Dates?
May
May
23rd.
23rd.
I have some candy bills.
10 to 2.
It's the Saturday Memorial Day weekend.
Hey, Lois, can I jump on there for just a second?
Absolutely.
Because at Lois's yard sale event, we're going to be launching the 2026 PLBC raffle. Tickets will be available, and this program will start in May and will go all the way through October, and there will be drawings every month, and you don't have to be present to win. tickets are on sale, we just got the tickets today. So, if you wanna buy raffle tickets, give me a call.
Well, and the prizes are amazing. They're like from $100 to $200 value. So the ticket, the $5 ticket is well worth.
It's worth a chance.
Yeah.
By five.
That's right.
High five.
right?
Unless you're a board member.
Oh, yes, we can participate.
That's fair.
Sorry.
But we can encourage.
That's right.
That's my report.
Thank you, Lois. Next on the list, so a couple of crazy ideas I've had and I'm running with. Diana sent me an email a couple of weeks ago. A company had reached out to them to do some PC recycling, a company called, a nonprofit, PCs for People. They recycle electronics and refurbish refurbishable electronics to get them into the hands of people who might otherwise not have the resources to get new computers. And so we are gonna do an e-waste recycling event on May 15th. It's a pop-up drive-through. The PCs for People bring their truck. They bring everything except the signs that the promotion signs. Probably like a 10 to 2 window on the 15th, which is a Friday. It will be up in the village center where the recycle bins used to be. And we'll be putting out more information about that soon. The next event that I'm trying to champion is a roadside cleanup crew, as Jean in the back knows about the Jefferson County Trash Task Force. I've talked to her and Stephanie and Brad over at the Kitsap County Trash Task Force. We don't have a start date yet because I'm having visions of Alice's restaurant, but I have to go up and I have to go to the county and sign up to get a background check done to make sure I'm safe to go collect garbage on the side of the road. So the whoever's the POC for one of these groups, roadside cleanup group, has to clear a Washington State Patrol background check.
I hope you make it.
I hope so too.
You need a letter of recommendation?
You and Andy if I do. So I don't know when we're gonna do our first one. I had hoped to do it sooner rather than later, but I don't have any idea how long that process is gonna take. I'm gonna go up there tomorrow and start the process. That's one of the unfunded or unbudgeted items that Gary was talking about. It's like, we need vests and all and cones. The county does provide some of the equipment. We would eventually like to get to the point where we have our own, so we don't have to make the 2 round trips to borrow the equipment every time. They provide a voucher to dispose of the garbage once you collect it. They don't come and get it for you off the side of the road, but anyway, that's something we're gonna champion and get rolling here shortly. And the third thing that I'm gonna run with, just because it's my jam. Diana again forwarded an email from the Port Townsend Marine Science Center, who is trying to put together a countywide beach cleanup day on the Saturday of Earth Day Week, which is April 25th. And what we need to do, other than promote it, they will also promote it, is just be there to check people in, and they bring all the supplies. They pay for the garbage. They'll even come pick it up if we need them to. I think we can probably get it to the dump, but it'll be the beach here in front of the resort. So that'll be April 25th from 9 to 1. So that's, again, just found that out, the date and the time an hour before I came here. So
Where we're going to be gathering for that?
at the probably at the totem pole, I would guess, would be where we'll set up a check-in booth. So spread the word on that one. That's a cool thing. I haven't looked, but I trust they planned this around a low tide. So there's more beach to clean, but I don't know.
Do you need fire and rescue there, just in case?
We should, in case people get stuck in the mud.
We might need it when we start cleaning the roads.
We might, yeah. And I'm looking forward to that. So anyway, keep those on your radar if you feel like getting outside to either clean the roadside or the beach.
It's fun,
Yeah, right?
believe it or not.
I'm gonna come to one, before we do one of ours, I'm gonna come to one of yours, and I'm gonna get with Brad over at Kitsap County and do one of theirs, just to make sure.
How about tomorrow, we're going tomorrow.
I gotta get fingerprinted apparently, to prove that I can be trusted with garbage.
You gotta be your pancake breakfast.
And I'm gonna get pancake breakfast, yeah, that's right, I'm the checker-inner. Okay, I'm gonna jump, just because I've got the floor, to emergency real quick, and then I'll pass it to Howard to do utilities and trails. As I have emailed all of you, our emergency committee is really itching to get their community emergency plan to the public, if nothing else, as a draft form for input. So we will be focusing on that on the April 21st board workshop, which is open to the public. And we're kind of in a bit of a spot with that, because none of us are community emergency people, but yet we're expected to sign off on this thing, so input from the public would be great. I think what we'll end up at is, we will approve a draft, which will then go on the web, and we'll try and get community to weigh in on it. Particularly those in the emergency community.
So I actually would offer Cappy to help you out with that. She actually lives in this area, and she would probably love to help you out with any kind of emergency planning.
Who?
Cappy Kaplinger. She works for EOC, and she's also a CIO for us.
She
Nobody,
she works for us and for.
Oh, a double dipper, okay.
Double dip.
That's good.
Okay, I will reach out. Is it Cat, C-A-P-P-Y?
It's KEPPI.
K-E-P. Go ahead.
It's the only one you can Google.
Okay, I will look into that, yeah, because we feel like we're kind of working a little bit in the dark. Our committee feels strongly that they put together a plan, but none of us really know how to vet it. And
I don't know how to vet the whole thing, but I do know that Rick Sherman, who has been sponsoring this, running with it for the last umpteen years, getting it ready, has put a lot of work into it. It's had a lot of thought. Prior emergency committees have looked at it, given him support. So I think it'll be a good workshop, but I think we can have a lot of confidence that we've got all of the boxes checked off that we need. So it's a matter of getting everybody aware and willing to participate, because it will involve some community participation to keep it going.
always does, especially that kind of stuff. We're gonna be relying on community. If we get to the point where we need a community emergency plan to put it into motion, we'll definitely need to. So yeah, that's that, April 21st. Though our workshops are at 1 o'clock though. It'll probably be across the hall in the conference room, unless a lot of people show up, we'll move over here. Okay, I'm gonna turn it over to Howard for both a utilities committee update and a trails committee update.
Okay, well, I'm gonna do trails first because we haven't had a meeting since our last meeting. So, there is no real update other than I do get kind of weekly reports, on, they call them fun days, but they've been going out, clearing out the trails. I think they're still working on finishing a few, but beyond that, I can't give you a full report, so I'll do that next meeting. Utilities, a little background. Ludlow Village Council had a utilities committee, it's been part of our mission, but in the last few years, it fell into decline, and essentially there was one meeting last year that Jeff and I and a few of the folks that have been involved. So I was tasked with bringing back this committee, and the first thing I did was contacted members of the former committee, or that did participate, and try to get an understanding of the work they did. And I invited them to come to our first meeting. Some of them have now, I hate to say aged out, but they've essentially aged out of being able to participate, but we're more than happy to come and share their experience and to be there as mentors as we move along. So Jeff helped me a lot with the meeting, and particularly in how we do minutes. It's always been a stickler for me that whoever that does secretarial work doesn't get to participate like everyone else. And so just so you know, we did AI minutes, and as Jeff, you correctly said, it hashed everyone's name, but it got pretty much everything else down. And so I was tasked with taking that and oops, I should have been passing this around. Here. 1, 2, 3. And go around back for some more. I had put together before we had our first meeting and ran it by the board, PLDC Utilities Committee Strategic Plan. And that was approved, and that's really what set the stage for our first meeting. In our first meeting, we went over that plan, and a few things were thrown out as priorities. And what was really left were some really core issues, meaning our PUD, energy and communications, particularly talking about managing the aging infrastructure, much of which is over 60 years old, overseeing electric and fiber optic, they call dark fiber installations during active PUD trenching to future-proof the community. The idea being that if they're already digging a trench, you might as well use that opportunity to put in whatever other infrastructure that you can. This was a pet one of mine that came trying to keep going because of the cell tower issue that we've already discussed and done. But maintaining a comprehensive understanding of local coverage areas and operational requirements. So that's the wordage that we have at this time. How much we do with that, again, really relies on having folks that have the expertise that we don't have. So that's a work in progress. And I'm going to save water for last, but then also ecological reporting. We talked about the bay, and Carol came up with a much better wordage than what I had, which is, now that I lost it, bay health, to integrate Port Ludlow bay management from both ecological and maritime perspectives. And along with that, we need to get folks again that have that kind of expertise, and we've got some feelers out to folks. And also, I reached out to the Port Ludlow Yacht Club, actually to their Commodore, and she's putting it out in their newsletter, our request for volunteers, which is also in my voice that just came out. The other maritime concerns are derelict vessels, monitoring abandoned craft according to the state's rating system, speed enforcement, which I hadn't even thought about, but maintaining the strictly enforced 5 nautical mile per hour weight limit, and anchorage compliance, ensuring adherence to the state mandated 30-day limit. And I was asked separately why that was, I think it was you, Carol, why is that a utility? Well, it isn't, but the gentleman that was on the utilities, and for 33 years, on his own dime, went out to the bay and came back and reported. I thought that was, it's a place where until it grows into its own, if one day it even does. So, and then our long-term vision is achieving a consistent long-term committee membership, which we can say that for every committee and every board. And then the big issue that's going to hopefully grow out of our conversations of utilities and grow into its own is conducting research into establishing a Port Ludlow Water or Port Parks District. And it'd be a heavy lift, but there's some state assets that can help with that conversation. And for gonna have to reach out, and this is gonna take some more work for this board to figure it out. But if in fact we could create a water district, whoever owns our water district, if it's in private ownership, could apply for grants that carry over for that 70% of the surcharge that right now rate users pay. So that could help keep the cost of our water and sewer service down. And and I say water and sewer for last, it's probably the most contentious issue. There are a few folks with very strong feelings, and they have every right to voice those. I was sent a list of questions for housing, and I asked for that list to be sent to Representative from Alvin, Jason White, and we can take up that conversation at our next meeting and maybe beyond. But the best we can do is get good information and give it out to the community, and that's the way I really would like to, as long as I'm leading this committee. It's not us taking positions as much as us sharing information with folks, and then it goes from there. So I think that's about it. Oh, and that, no, I'm good.
And just a quick clarification, if there was a water district created, it would not be held privately.
Oh, no.
But that's what you're saying. It's a public, it would be a public district.
Special district.
And I still don't know enough to really speak correctly about that. It's a whole deep conversation, and it'd be a multi-year,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and it would.
10 years.
Well, if you could talk about Parks District, which again, I'm not knowledgeable about, that is even a bigger lift and could, what I was told, take over a decade to do. But for future generations, you know, we have one city in our county, is Park County, and the rest of us are unincorporated. And so the question is there enough folks in any one particular area to take on that ownership and responsibility? I don't know, you know, but that's the question, you know.
So another piece we're talking, we're not sure if it's gonna fit with utilities or if it's gonna be a standalone, but this 10-year, the future of Port Ludlow, where are we gonna be? Where do we wanna be as a community? Where do we wanna be as a village or town or whatever? I'm not saying we should even talk about incorporation, but what PLA is not going to be here forever, right? They have told us that Port Ludlow Associates that owns the golf course, the marina, the hotel, the water district, the village center. At some point, they're going to sell those assets, and I think it's in the community's best interest to think about what we want that to look like and whether or not we want to be involved in that process. But it's a massive undertaking, and it's going to be challenging to get people to come out and have those conversations, and we got to figure out how to do that.
Can I just ask us that? But, so this committee, Howard, it says under energy and communications, manage aging infrastructure. Is that what the committee's doing? You're gonna manage?
No, we're gonna say that if I did, it needs to be.
We are not
So you
managing
got some
anything.
really good verbs here, but it means you guys are doing some pretty amazing work.
No.
You're gonna oversee the electric and fiber optic installation?
That was AI.
Oh, I know, you know what?
I'm just kidding.
AI is good, but, you know.
No.
So I don't know what the committee is doing.
In 10 years, yeah, I'd like to do that.
So
We're gonna monitor upcoming system upgrades.
This
Do
is.
you see what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't know that first of all, this is a living document at the moment.
Yeah.
And
You got a lot of work to do.
And, thank you, I won't live that long. What I did in upgrading right now our strategic utilities, strategic plan, and I should have said draft almost, is that I went off the minutes and for what the priorities were of the folks in that committee. new people will come into that committee, and hopefully we'll get more things. Right now, we have 9 folks, but out of that, 4 of the folks aren't really gonna be, they're 4 old members, so we really have 5 or 6. And out of that, Jeff is on the committee, I'm on the committee, Carol's on the committee, and Joan is on the committee. So essentially, it's a committee of board members right now, and a few others.
Which is not sustainable.
Which is not sustainable. So this is just at the beginning. What I'd like to do with this strategic plan, and I'm open to whatever anybody thinks, is after each of these meetings is kind of adjusting to where people are at, or what do you think we should do?
Well, yeah, I think the committee needs to set its priorities,
Yes.
which need to have the blessing of the board at some level, and run with it.
Okay.
But it's very much gotta be, you gotta find the right people, the right number of people. Which is the hard part for any of these, as you know, from your board meetings, right? Getting people to participate is really hard.
Carol,
That
I
expertise.
understand, I just went through and circled the action verbs,
Uh-huh,
those all need to be massaged,
yeah,
every last one of them.
yeah, otherwise you guys are doing
Yeah.
the work instead
Yeah,
of PUD or ALSI.
Yeah, that's not the goal.
That's my comment.
Right.
Thank you.
Good catch.
Because none of us have that capacity. And again, I did have.
Or authority.
Your authority, really.
But,
Unless you genius.
no. But the goal, at least mine, without going on through these notes, is to get folks that have expertise
Sure,
on these
sure.
different issues.
I'm just giving you an update,
Come-
just my.
No, it's all good. But then they come to the meetings, and I'm saying this because my ownership is whatever works for everybody else. I don't own anything, but is getting folks together, and quite frankly, I was so focused on dealing with water and sewer because I know that's the most contentious issue, and it's one that broke apart this committee. I'll just tell it to everybody. The reason that committee stopped working is people stopped talking to each other. When people don't talk to each other, you don't get any work done. So how do we do it? And that's why it sat for so long. And then Jeff and I talked, and we really thought about it, and he asked me if I'd tackle it, and you know me, yeah, okay, I'll do that. So that's where we're at. But it's a work in progress, but more importantly, it's getting folks to the table that
That's
really willing to
I'm
do
just
that work.
saying that in order to get folks to the table, so if I wanted to come to the table, not, but if I did, I would look at this and say, I don't have the capacity to manage, oversee, or maintain. That's the issue with this document, of looking at it like that, right?
Gary's gonna help.
Yeah,
Right, yeah, okay,
yes, and we're gonna tackle that, I
Yes.
promise you.
yes, because that's a big ask for any volunteer.
It's setting people up for failure,
Exactly.
because you cannot attend.
If I would have had more time, I would have, we communicate, and I usually put out what I'm gonna do, but I did, but thank you, right?
Okay, just FYI.
No, you're.
Nobody's
you're-
gonna be on your committee if this is the work.
This, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna move on to Carol, is what I'm gonna do.
It's mostly just a comment that, since I've been on the committee and I listened to the discussions, there's a lot of things that are going on in the community which, PLBC can have eyes on. And right now, this committee has kind of become a catch-all for other things that we could be looking at. So I would expect, maybe not in the near future, but there's gonna be either some subcommittees formed or some additional top-notch standing committees formed to look at it. The future PL is kind of one of the angels on my shoulder that say, do something, get it started. That may become its own committee, but I really appreciate the work that Howard's done in energizing the attention to all of these points. It will get massaged, but I really think that it's one of the ways that our community can look at what we do or what we can do and start thinking about, yes, we're a community. I probably said this before, but when I first came here, it's like, okay, I've got a house, and 2-3 years later, I had a cat. And fourth year, I realized that I didn't live in a city. We have our master plan, resort area, but we don't have any city structure that kind of organizes and oversees and helps manage things like, you know, if I were living someplace else, heaven forbid it was Port Townsend, but, you know, if I were living someplace else with a house, the city government would be taking care of it. We don't have a city government. We have the PLBC. It can be eyes on the community. We need the community also to have eyes with us in where we're going and being more involved. Talk about democracy in action. This is where it starts, and we can do it. So, to me, I appreciate everything Howard's done. This document documents a lot of stuff that our community needs to be concerned about, but it needs, everybody needs to start saying, oh yeah, maybe I should go to those meetings. Oh yeah, maybe I should be on a committee. Just one, you know, once a month for a couple of hours. That's not a big commitment, but it does give us the energy to pursue the kinds of things that as a nonprofit we, you know, pledge ourselves to do for the community, so. Not having planned a speech, that was good.
Thanks, Carol. We'll open the floor to audience comments at this point from the massive crowd that's here, most of whom we've already heard from.
I have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
I'm curious how closing the recycling center down has gone, what kind of feedback you guys have gotten.
Well,
So it was a challenge, much like the one up by the jail, that as the day grew closer, the stuff just started piling up. And we were really concerned that it was gonna be a problem.
Right.
And Skookum must have come and cleaned it up, because when the last bin left, all the piles and piles of cardboard left as well. And I don't think there's been any dumping here since then, which everyone was concerned about. I drove by there yesterday and that area's clean. It's
I've
been
been drive by constantly looking for something to dump, and nobody's done it yet. so.
Nobody's done, the day before the bins here were gonna get hauled away, I went up there and just sat and watched for a while, because stuff was piling up and it was quickly evident as to why they were going away, because I watched car after car come up and dump contaminated stuff in there, stuff still in plastic bags. I saw one lady very diligently take the top off of every water bottle. She had 5 bags of water bottles and throw the caps in the recycle bin.
Oh my.
Because it said, remove caps.
Yeah.
So she was removing her caps and putting them one at a time, and then putting the bottle in.
She must have been from California,
And-
because when I first moved here, we
Yeah,
never, we never
didn't take
moved
the tops
cats.
off, yeah.
No, we never did that.
Now, we did,
So I lived on a cul-de-sac with 4 houses. 2 of us were already doing curbside recycling in the bins. A third person, the day they came and delivered our carts, a third person started doing it. So I think people are gonna adapt. It's $12. I don't know what the
I think-
price difference is, because I've had it since
I
the
think they
get-go.
will, but I was not a recycling customer with the people who pick it up. And I took mine to Port Townsend, which you can do glass there. So I ordered it because it's all going away. And she promised it on a certain date.
Yes,
4 days later, I still didn't have my cart. So I called again, and she said, yeah.
they ran
So
out.
we ran out. I said, you ran out? She said, yeah, we weren't anticipating this. And I thought, you knew this a long time before we did, so how did you run out?
I got yours.
Thanks.
My comment, we all have an answer for it. 2 things. One, Jeff and I had met with Diana a couple of weeks before, 3 weeks, and we were getting concerned because there was one small little sign that you had to go look for, telling what's going on. So Diana made signs, it made, and had them laminated, saying it was closing on the 25th. Jeff picked them up. I borrowed some real estate signs from Portland, the brokers, and we went and put 3 signs a couple weeks in advance saying it's closing on the 25th. And part of that, because I go twice a week, or did, most of the people, or half the people, or whatever percentage, did not know it was closing. And that's separate from the garbage. So the day they picked it up, like Jeff said, somebody did dump garbage. And the next day, PLA sent one of their staff, and they picked that up, and I haven't seen anything since.
Great, I got a couple things in response to that. One of them, I met with Port Townsend Paper today about something totally unrelated to this, but they were talking about cardboard. And I know they've had like a huge cardboard bin in their parking lot. It hasn't really been open to the public, but they're actually going to open it in the next couple of weeks, probably to the public, because obviously you have to pay to take your recycling out to the dump. And you'd be able to drop it off. Right, you'd be able to drop it off there at paper mill, which kind of makes sense, because I mean, they're trucking in cardboard, so you could just dump your cardboard there, so that makes sense, yeah. And then the other thing is, I heard they're actually talking about gating off Andy Cooper Road, which is the road that goes between Teal Lake Road and Paradise Bay Road, because there's been so much dumping on that road.
A lot of dumping on that road.
Are we running that through all the?
Oh yeah, it's gonna go through all the channels, but there's just talking about it.
Did a shot that road?
Good.
The dirt road that comes over from Paradise Bay Road to Teal Lake Road.
A lot of dumping.
There is.
Lot of dumping there.
I'm sorry, where, Taylor Road,
Paradise Bay Road and Paradise Bay, right when you come out of Paradise and the road kind of cuts over towards Teal.
That's it was, or the car with they missed the turn for that road.
So there's so many collisions out there.
Yeah.
But Andy, you bring up a really good point though, which is, and we don't have enough time, to me, over the next 3 months, in other words, is there more dumping than there was previous, some way that you can get data
Right.
that can show it. I don't know, I mean, my biggest fear, and I know Jess was too, is that it was just gonna turn into a trash dump over to recycling, because people would still be coming to that location,
Right.
but they're going somewhere else.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I don't know where they're gonna go, whether they're gonna dump a boat at the end of Oak Bay Road, like that one that was out there, that the county ended up hauling off the other day.
It was a very nice 1960s motor on the back.
No, yeah.
Wouldn't be the first one I found out.
I saw that one on Facebook.
So then the
Jeans collection.
second question I had, and no, this isn't actually in your like purview, but the Beaver Valley parking lot at the end of Beaver Valley Road, the information center, the parking lot. There used to be like bathrooms there. The bathrooms got removed. Have you heard any complaints from people about not having bathrooms
porta
there?
potties?
The porta potties.
I don't remember seeing that.
Yeah, well, porta potties.
We have not.
Okay.
That might just be our wheelhouse.
Chief.
I wanted to personally compliment the efforts on the trails. A couple of years, my wife and I enjoy them on a regular basis whenever we have out-of-towners. They're just astounded with how they're built and the quality. It's really impressive. But professionally, there's one small detail about those trails that really makes it important, that I don't know if it's intentional or if it's just coincidental, but the signage on the trails is, it might just seem, a boutique thing or, eye candy, but it's really important for my business, for your business. Because we get 911 calls all the time, especially at dusk, when some people, get sundowner syndrome and get confused with where they are. When they're on a trail and then they decide they're lost or they need help. The names on the trails is really important, so thanks for doing that. It's vitally important.
Well, there's two things that go with that. Number one, there's a brand new trails map that's made. Two, it's 30 point something miles, I believe now we have trails. And I believe, if Larry has said it's about it, but he runs that committee like a military operation. And there's a steward for each trail. There's someone who makes the signs, who made a number of new signs, because ones were wearing out and so on. They also made 60 birdhouses, but that's a separate conversation that they're putting up. So, you know, I mean, I like to say, I mean, physically, I can't get out and help him, this guy has, he went and.
So having the signs with the names on it.
Oh, yes, very good.
If people forget where they are, or they're calling it something that it's not, and then I know a dispatcher, that's the,
Right.
that the GPS might not ping accurately. We have a lot of cell holes, cellular coverage holes in our community, and that's, you know, really important to the dispatcher, so that we're not sending an over response because we can't find this person, we're right sizing the response because we know where they are.
I'm gonna mention,
It's very
Yeah,
nice.
I'll send Larry an email tonight, make sure he gets that feedback.
Thank you for
But thank
recognizing
you
the
for
work.
recognizing it, yeah.
They work hard.
Yeah, notice.
Dan?
The question I have, is there a need or desire to connect with the 911 system? You know, Gibbs Lake is connected to 911.
Oh, the night trails.
And I know the Heritage Park over in Kissett County,
I don't know what you're asking.
What do you mean, like a phone or something?
they have signs that they tell the location number of the report, people can call in the
Oh, like a
911.
mile marker?
I mean, that's what he's talking about though. So basically, we actually have it's called a CAD map. And so it actually shows all the trails here and the names on there. So if someone calls in and says they're at this point on this trail, it'll actually show up on the map.
Right.
Because our maps and our dispatch center are just phenomenal. So, and if you ever want a chance to take a tour of our dispatch center, just let me know. We're
Yep.
black.
That would be fun.
Sign us up.
It's really interesting.
Okay, any other audience comments? I don't know how we're gonna adjourn without Joan being here, as she always.
Okay, make the motion.
Motion to adjourn. Everybody's been ready to go.
I'll second it.
Perfect. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Hey, thank you, folks. It's a great meeting.
Thank you.